Okay, Memorial Cup. And there's an interesting thing going on with the Memorial Cup right now, and I thought I'd throw it out there. You'll have heroes at the Memorial Cup that change their draft ranking, that change a lot of people's minds about where they're going to go. And I'm starting to think Noah Dobson's been doing this already for Acadie Bathurst. Um, he's rated at ninth on the Hockey News. He's rated at ninth by International Scouting Services as well. Um, when we were doing the draft lottery, and then people said, who would you like to see the Canucks draft at seventh? I come up with Dobson. Now, the top four in this year's draft are kind of set in stone, almost, except they're not. Dahlin, Svechnikov, Zadina, and Tkachuk. The Hockey News has Dahlin first, Svechnikov second, Tkachuk third, and Zadina fourth. So, I've heard a lot of people say, oh, Zadina's way better than Tkachuk. The scouts don't agree. There are scouts who think that Zadina's the better one. There are scouts that think Brady Tkachuk has made that big jump. And we'll see. Now, after those four, there's a drop-off. But I don't think there's as much of a drop-off as necessarily we're being led to believe. And it's because there's so many good defensemen. I just wrote down defensemen in the top 50 on the Hockey News rankings. And then there's a couple weird ones. Scott Perunovich. They rate him at 35th. He's not rated by International Scouting. Played for Minnesota Duluth. 11 goals, 25 assists, 36 points. Every now and then, the Hockey News will do that. They'll throw somebody in their draft issue where they don't necessarily project as NHLers. And it's fun that they do it, and at the same time, a lot of the times at the draft, when it gets done, you may not hear this guy's name before the third or fourth round. Alexander Alexiev is one that they've got lower than ISS. International Scouting Service has him at 24th. They have him at 54 overall. He's playing for Red Deer, or played for Red Deer. Their season's over. 7 goals, 30 assists. So Noah Dobson, I think the thing that gets me with him, the thing that stands out right away, is look at the height. Because you're looking for NHL projectable defensemen, right? The guys who are going to be ready to step in. And I know that the league has changed so that smaller, shorter defensemen are kind of the rage, but at the same time, if you can get a 6'2" or 6'3" guy who can possibly push for a roster spot right away, you're in good shape. Dobson's 6'3" and he's listed as 179. Now, that might be about 10 pounds below what you're going to want for an NHL frame, but really, honestly, he is pretty solid. Now, I'm not trying to downgrade anybody that's ahead of him on the charts. Evan Bouchard for London this year had 25 goals and 62 assists. Dobson had 17 goals and 52 assists. 69 points compared to 87. Quinn Hughes, he's in Michigan, 5 goals and 24 assists. NCAA numbers are always going to be lower. They play less games, and there's less goals scored. Adam Boqvist, who is kind of listed as the top guy, 25 games for Brunus, 14 goals, 10 assists, 24 points. And I'm pretty sure it's Brunus, although I know I'm probably butchering it because Swedish, the way that the Swedish names of their teams are pronounced are different than the way it looks like Brynäs, but I don't think that's right either. Anyways, but Boqvist is 5'11", 170. It is possible that a team picking early, so picking after the big four are off the board, and if they don't draft Wahlstrom, and I can't not mention Wahlstrom. Wahlstrom's rated at 5th on ISS. The Hockey News has him at 8th. Wahlstrom is the one forward in this defense section. There could be a team that looks at Dobson, looks at his performance so far in the Memorial Cup. He's got 5 points in 2 games. And regardless of what happens from here, those 4 points in that one game, they're going to stand out. They're going to stand out. And he may very well move up. Bouchard as well is tricky because Bouchard's 6'2" and 192 pounds. Bouchard already has that projectable NHL frame. So there are going to be probably teams fighting with themselves over who to pick. Because, so here's Hughes is 6, Bouchard 7, Dobson's 9 on the Hockey News list. International Scouting has Bouchard at 6, Quinn Hughes at 7, and Dobson at 9. Interestingly, International Scouting has Boquist at 8. So they have Bouchard and Quinn Hughes ahead of Boquist. And if Boquist drops to 7th, as a Canuck fan, I say thank you and you grab him. But when you look at Central Scouting, which breaks everything into North America, Europe, and all that, in North American skaters, Bouchard's number 4, Dobson's number 5, and Hughes is number 6. This is going to be tricky. And I say that with, in all seriousness. This is going to be a really fun draft. But I do think that with what Dobson has done at the Memorial Cup thus far, I think it improves his stock. And it is not an insult to any of the other 3 guys who are rated ahead of him. But I do think that when GMs are watching this, and there's going to be a lot of scouts at the Memorial Cup, 6'3" stands out. That's the tallest among the defensemen other than Keandre Miller, who is 6'4". And honestly, Keandre Miller, I think, is going to be a steal because at 6'4", 205 pounds, he's already built for the NHL. Matthias Samuelsson, 6'3", 215. He's already got the NHL projectable frame, and he's rated to go 31st. So one of these top draft picks are late first-round draft picks that's been traded could end up being one of these guys. Because, again, these are the Hockey News rankings, and these are the International Scouting Service rankings. And I put them both up because even though the Hockey News isn't a registered scouting service, they've actually been pretty good in the past. Their ratings actually haven't been that far off of what it really happens. So I don't have a problem with their ratings, and I'm going to do a mock draft myself anyways. Probably wait till the end of the Memorial Cup, because I don't think Dobson's done writing his story yet. Acadie Bathurst is one of those interesting ones because going into any Memorial Cup, it seems like usually the WHL and OHL champions are given a lot of attention. The Quebec League champions are usually seen as the weaker team. And I say that in all respect to the Quebec League. I think the Quebec League's produced some massively talented players. But when it comes to the Memorial Cup, a lot of the times the Ontario League team is the one getting all the press going in and is kind of expected to be the winner because the OHL is seen as the strongest league of the 3. Acadie Bathurst, at the time I'm recording this, is 2-0. So they're already guaranteed a spot in the semifinal, and they'll be looking to go 3-0 in their next game. It's an interesting prospect because I do want Dobson to be drafted by the Canucks. I know that there's a lot of people who are upset in Vancouver fandom that they didn't win draft lottery again, and yes, Dahlin would have been awesome, but Noah Dobson, I think, would be an excellent prize to get in the interim. I like Dobson. That's basically what I'm doing here and why I'm doing this. His stats have impressed me, his size has impressed me, and now with what he's doing at the Memorial Cup, I think his stock has risen. And this absolutely could make a huge difference. He could be the number 5 guy. He could be drafted 5th overall based on a Memorial Cup appearance. A lot of people put a lot of stock in the World Juniors, and the juniors are important too, but the juniors are in December, and a lot can change between December and May. These kids are teenagers. You don't know what's... And honestly, I think Dobson's doing a lot for his stock right now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And which name that I have on this board do you think is going to be a steal? Is it going to be Sandin? Sandin, of course, comes over mid-season to play for Sault Ste. Marie. Puts up 45 points. 5'11", 190. He's rated 17th on the Hockey News, 36th on International Scouting. So somebody's really right, and somebody's probably really wrong on this kid. Bodie Wild, 15 and 23. Ty Smith, 10 and 19. The Hockey News seems to favor the defenseman more than does International Scouting, and that's no more apparent than Jet Wu, who they have at 21st, and International Scouting has him at 51st. So let me know your thoughts about who you figure's in the wrong spot, and where do you see Dobson going. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.